What's up, interwebs? It's your realtor, Jeremy. It's time for the Valley Market Update. This week, we're taking a look at Phoenix, which I never look at because it's just so friggin' big. And there's like pockets of like really, really high end and pockets of really, really basic. Like it's kind of got a wide gambit. So we're going to look at Phoenix, but then we're going to zero in on our favorite Phoenix, not Phoenix areas. You know them as Ahwatukee and Arcadia. They are Phoenix, but they don't like to be Phoenix. All right, first let's take a look at Phoenix as a whole. Now, these numbers are going to look a little more steady or tame than we're used to seeing, and that's because of the volume of houses. So we'll put up the first graph. You see our graph there goes from 0 to 3,000. Most of our cities we look at are selling about the 400 at the most. I usually try not to get cities that sell less than like 20 or 30 because then the numbers get all wonky. But you can see new listings stayed pretty steady, but buyers ticked up. Again, this is what we saw across the board. It's why the January numbers that I was sharing in February just weren't making sense to what we were actually seeing happen in the market. Average sale price did tick up a little bit stronger than it had the previous months, but it's just a steady incline. Absorption rate did drop off. It was pretty high in October, but then plummeted. We went from a little over a month, actually in November, it was right at a month of inventory. We're now at 0.7 months of inventory. The sold to list price ratio did jump up a lot, a little more akin to Chandler, but not quite as high. We went from 100 to 101.2 or 3-ish. Days on market sitting right around 34, 33. It has been for 3 or 4 months now. 520, 334 was the average sale price, up from 405, 744, a 28.24% change. It's really important that your agent is looking at this specific zip code or the specific neighborhood that your home is in if you're looking to sell, to kind of give you an idea of what it should sell for, average things. It's really important to zero in Phoenix. That's why I don't think I've ever actually done just Phoenix as a whole on this show. Last month, we sold 1,719 houses. The previous year, we sold 1,800. The most active price band was the 3 to 400 last year, and this year remained the same. The most active was the 3 to 400, but you can see way more stuff sold above than below. The 2 to 250 price point had 225 houses. This year, 77. The 250 to 300 sold 360 last year. This year, only 98. So all of your like multiple hundreds were all above the 400,000 price point. All right, let's look at Ahwatukee, which is still Phoenix but separated by South Mountain, which is why they look, feel, and don't like to be considered anything like Phoenix. They're Ahwatukee. Again, because of the lower number of houses sold, we get some volatility in our graph. I'm trying to digest this right now. New listings went up, but buyers went up. Sold price, the average sale price, has been ratcheting up since September. A little different thing happening in Ahwatukee, and I'm not entirely sure what was causing that this year. Absorption rate was up at almost a month in October, November, but then has dropped down to be a little bit over just half a month. Sold to list price ratio, you see they landed in about the same spot, which means not a lot of price reductions happening. And we're 101.3 to list price. So seeing that similar acceleration we saw in some of the other southeast cities. Days on market, we are still under 30 days. We actually ticked down to about 27 days. Average sale price, $598, $412, up from $476, $582, a 25.5% change. Last month, we sold 120 houses. The previous year, we sold 108. The most active price band last year was the 4 to 500, though 3 to 400 was right behind it. This year, the most active was 550 to 750. The 4 to 500 was not too far behind it. But the thing to really note is we sold 7 houses over $1 million. The previous year, only 3. All right, and now Arcadia, which is the area that's just south of Camelback, north of Indian School, is really the true Arcadia proper. It's both Phoenix and some Scottsdale, the zip codes. It's actually part Phoenix and part Scottsdale. But it is such a unique area and such a different area than almost any other place in the valley. You'll see our scale here, our graph here only goes up to 40. So obviously a lot fewer listings here. The new listings kind of ticked off a little bit. Buyers went up. You can see it doesn't look like there's been much of a change, but our graph here is going from 0 to 3 million. Whereas some of our other graphs only go up to like 0 to 700,000 or something like that. So let's look at some of the other numbers to give us a real indication of what's happening with the average sold price. Absorption rate was sitting over a month, but now is under a month, all the way down to about a little over 3 weeks, I think, of inventory. But it hasn't changed much in the last month. The sold to list price, both of them jumped up. The sold to original list was at 98% actually last month, but has ticked up over 100%. And you can see that for the most part, the last year, there were only a couple times where the sold to list price was actually over 100%. And again, that's because of the price point in Arcadia, and they tend to be newer homes that are built. That combination of those two things, they tend to be priced a little bit higher than they'll actually get on the market. There's a different pricing kind of strategy when you get into these new build homes or these multi-million-dollar homes. There's kind of a different pricing, I don't know, game's not the right word, but different pricing strategy than in the sub-million market. Average days on market is under 40, which again for multi-million-dollar, million-dollar homes is pretty fast. The average sale price in Arcadia, $2.188 million, up from $1.581 million at 38.43% change. So like I said, that graph looked almost flat earlier that we looked at. If you average it out, it looked almost a little bit flat. But it really wasn't, was it? 38% change. I mentioned last week that I thought Litchfield Park might have been the highest appreciation, but so far Arcadia. Though I kind of would consider this a little bit of an anomaly because there's such a small sample of houses, because it is such a small-ish community. Like I said, only sold like 20-something. Yes, it is the highest appreciation, but I take that a little bit with a grain of salt because it's such a unique area. Last month we sold 21. The previous year 27. The vast majority were over $1 million. We had 5 sell for more than $3 million. 5 sell for between $2 and $3 million. So what's that? 16 of the 21 houses that sold were for over $1 million. Well, that's it for this week's Valley Market Update. I appreciate you guys watching these. I hope you've had a great March. I hope you've gotten outdoors and enjoyed the weather. April doesn't tend to be as pristine as March is. The weather's still great. So get out there and enjoy the Arizona sunshine. Maybe we've got some wildflowers blooming. It's always hard to tell when those things start to pop. But get out there and hike a new trail. Try something new. Try some new outdoor activity. We got lots of lakes and riparian preserves. Like, you'd be surprised at how much water we have that you can go check out. One of the many reasons so many people are moving to Arizona. So we'll see you guys next week on the Valley Market Update. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.